Goodbye. See you later.
In our 78th season, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame High School Football Radio Game of the Week.
No give up in these guys.
We'll be in green Friday night as Federal League play begins. The Bulldogs welcome in the Jackson Polar Bears.
Slow start. You guys picked it up in the second quarter. What was the key to turning it around?
Dan, Mark, Kenny, and Denny bring you the Pro Football Hall of Fame Game of the Week following the All Care Stadium show.
We're going to have fun for 4 quarters here tonight.
On 1480 WHBC and Mix 94.1.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. Things are, moving along fine, but there's so much to do when it comes to the fall, and the Yankee Peddler Festival is one of those things. It's been around for 49 years. This is the 49th annual Yankee Peddler Festival that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But before we get to that, I will remind you that you can watch us on Facebook Live. Just go to our Facebook page at 1480 WHBC and like the page. And you can also watch us live on YouTube. Just go to our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to the YouTube channel and get everything that we do on YouTube, but get there and you'll be able to watch the video as well. So we're excited to be discussing the Yankee Peddler Festival, one of my favorites. And we have with us this morning Frank Chaika with the Yankee Peddler Festival. Good morning, Frank. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Pam. It's a pleasure to be with you.
So first of all, fill us in a little bit about yourself and how you became involved with the Yankee Peddler Festival.
Well, the Yankee Peddler Festival has been a family event right from the beginning, and that also means that the organizers were family. And actually, my parents, along with the Yapples, Gretchen and Bob Yapple, started the festival way back in 1972. And while I had a career in academia, and as did my wife, as my parents grew older, we sort of slid over, did a horizontal shift in careers, and began to work with the festival. I've kind of grown up on it.
And you know what? I didn't even really realize that, but my goodness. And so your family, what was the impetus behind them, wanting to do this? Because people live for this event.
Yes, and it was really revolutionary for its time, too, back in 1972. Actually, they started thinking about it even before that. But my parents had been in the floral industry for many years, and my mother in particular also had lots of ties to the arts and crafts community in the Cleveland area in Northeast Ohio. The Apples had a business of studio displays, and so they would do all kinds of basically what you do in Hollywood, but they did it in Northeast Ohio, and they had this ability to work together to bring this festival and develop the festival. And, the festival started out, it wasn't the idea that, we'll just have a bunch of artists and crafters stand here outside at Clay's Park or any place, put something on a shelf and sell it. The idea was to make it alive. And so all of the artists and crafters, there are some exceptions, there's some exemptions given, basically make their work while they're on the grounds. And the idea has always been for people to appreciate and understand all that goes into human creativity and inspiration, and it flies in the face of globalization. It flies in the face of mass production, but it does go back to the period which we honor in the Yankee Peddler Festival of 1776 to 1825, when everything was made by hand. It was a different world. So we try to recreate. They immediately tried to recreate that environment at Yankee Peddler. There's no electricity. There's no buzzing, no honking of horns or any of that sort of noise. And it's a very pleasant place, and everything is done. Well, yes, the old-fashioned way, by hand. So that's what has made a great following, because people understand and appreciate all that goes into the art, and we have great artists there, artists and crafters.
I think that's probably why also it's such a wonderful family event, because it's a learning experience for kids as they walk through with family members, and even for parents too.
Exactly. In fact, we have a children's weekend on the second weekend where we dedicate even more activity to children. But all of our artists and crafters will sit with you and talk to you and work with you. We have many paid demonstrators who are there just for the purpose of teaching, but it's not teaching. It's not academic teaching. It's answering questions that people have about the process that they're demonstrating. We have encampments, mountain men encampments, frontiermen, let's call it that way. And we even have Civil War encampment, and they're very instructional and very interesting.
So let's start about where the festival is held and when it is this year.
Okay, the festival's held and has been held ever since its inception at Clay's Park Resort, which is right down the road from Canton, off of 21. Everyone, I think, knows that outside of Canal Fulton. So it's at Clay's Park Resort, and this year it's going to be on September 10th and 11th. I think I'm seeing this on the screen there, 17th and 18th, 24th and 25th. And we're held every year in the month of September. We picked out September, at least my parents and the Apples picked out September because it was the driest month of the year. We are open rain or shine. But yeah, it's more pleasant when it's not exactly rainy.
Yeah, people obviously like to walk around. So when you enter the festival, what do you see? What kinds of things will people see?
You know, I have an artistic bent, and I appreciate the comments of people that walk in and have said, you know, because we talk to them as they come in and say, this is like a work of art, just seeing it, just stepping into it, because that isn't something that you see. Clay's is an incredibly beautiful park, for those who are familiar with Clay's, and it has lots of wooded glades, and it has a creek that goes through the grounds. And people that are invited to participate as Yankee Peddlers set up their rustic shops. And so it's like going from one little shop to another, and see what the people are working on and what they're doing. And so it's a complete change from your daily life, and a complete change from the parking lot. As you walk in there, and usually takes people's breath away the first time.
And when and I will say, the first time, you were exactly right about that, because when the first time I ever heard about I've been around here for 30 years, but first time everybody kept saying, oh, Yankee Peddler, you got to go to Yankee, and I kept thinking, well, what is this thing? Well, when you go, you will you'll be pretty amazed and surprised at some of the things that you're going to see. But I just, like you said, watching them create the things that people buy and people want, and that's pretty amazing. That's like different in this day and age,
Absolutely. We're used to going into a Walmart or someplace and just picking it off the shelf. And I hate to say right now, everything's self-serve now, so you don't even get to talk to a cashier. But when you're at the festival, you're working with the people that actually create the object and make the object that you're going to purchase. And they put a lot of love into that. We have a great diversity of people, and they're all with their own particular artistic talents, and everything from little bread dough figures to furniture you can find there, and they're all being made there on the grounds, and people enjoying you in that process. And we'll tell people, if they want tickets, how do they get tickets? Well, you can just come to the gate. Okay. Tickets are available at the gate, and our lines are not terribly long. We try to keep them manageable. But also, we sell tickets online. If you go to our website, yankeepeddlerfestival.com, there's a ticket place says buy tickets here. I can't miss it. And the tickets we sell all year round, actually. In the early part of the year, we have advanced sale. The tickets are at more of a discount at that time. Now we're selling general admission tickets, and it is actually a little less expensive. Not a whole lot, but it's less expensive than coming to the gate. But you have the convenience of arriving there and just walking in without having to stand in line. And we don't charge convenience fees. We don't have parking fees. We're really clean. We don't try to be sneaky about things. About one price, nice and simple. That's right. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the actual artisans themselves and those folks who will be there, what kind of crafts people will see when they come to the Yankee Peddler Festival, which is coming up several weekends here during the month of September. So stay tuned for that. And again, don't forget, you can watch us on Facebook, and also you can watch us on our YouTube channel. It is Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Football games, bonfires, and hay rides are back in season, and so is Bell Store's delicious pumpkin spice coffee. Spice up your autumn adventures. Save 3 cents off a gallon when you purchase any size coffee with Bell Buddy rewards. Buy 5 and get your 6th cup free. Huddle up for great savings every day in the store and at the pump using Bell Buddy rewards. Cheer on big savings at Bell Stores. Ohio owned and keeping the family on full.
Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's trillions in reckless Washington spending, inflation through the roof, and higher prices on groceries, gas, and housing are really taxing Ohio families. And so is Tim Ryan. Taxing Tim Ryan just helped Pelosi and Biden pass hundreds of billions in new taxes, including $20 billion in higher taxes on low and middle-income Americans. Even people making as little as $10,000 a year will face higher taxes. Taxing Tim just hit working families in Ohio hard, and Tim Ryan's new taxes will devastate Ohio manufacturing and small businesses, threatening good-paying jobs in Ohio. In these tough times, Ohio just can't afford taxing Tim Ryan, tormenting Ohio families with tyrannical taxes and trillions in spending. Say no to taxing Tim Ryan. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 10th, 17th, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare made over open fires and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. That's yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival. See you there.
If you've got unneeded furniture, appliances, home decor, or building materials, Habitat Restore in Canton can help. With free donation pickup, you'll clear out space while saving time and effort. And every donated item helps local families build homes with Habitat for Humanity. It's easy to schedule your free donation pickup. Visit restoreeco.org or call 330-915-5920. Free donation pickup from Habitat Restore in Canton, the store that builds homes.
You do not want kidney stones again. Changed your diet? Take big, chalky pills that you hate? There's another option, stonestopper.com. It's an alkali citrate formula. Alkali citrate is scientifically proven to prevent crystallization. Delicious gummies, tasty powder drinks, or easy-to-swallow capsules. It's gentle on the stomach and no prescription is needed. Go to stonestopper.com. Stonestopper.com. You don't want kidney stones again. Stonestopper.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product does not intend to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning on News Talk 1480 WHBC. Pam Cook with you this morning. And we are talking about a wonderful event that has been around for 49 years. 49 years, believe it or not, Yankee Peddler Festival. And you know what? If it's been around for 49 years, you know they're doing something right. And it is coming up this weekend. It goes for several weekends throughout the month of September. And we have from the Yankee Peddler Festival this morning with us, Frank Chika. And Frank, I wanted to talk a little bit about the kinds of artisans and folks who are, throughout the Yankee Peddler. Who are we going to see there? What kinds of items are they making when we come to visit?
Well, it's easy to lose. It's easy to see the trees and lose the forest, because I have a list here. For instance, we have over 200 people who actually are going to be on the grounds. Some of them actually are there just dedicated to demonstrating. They're not even selling things. But there's 200 artists and artisans there on the grounds, and it's every medium you could think of. Is represented there. You have wood, you have ceramic and pottery, jewelry, blacksmith. It just got metal. There's a lot of different things. And we try to keep a very diverse group. Our show has been ranked #1 in the country several times, precisely because of the quality of the artists and crafters and the following that they've generated. I mean, this is their show as well as our show, as we put it, because actually it was started as a new venue for artists and crafters to be able to sell their products, and we've maintained that attitude the entire time. So you have everything from large scale furniture and benches that are absolutely exquisite, and I would love to have some in my own backyard, to very minute, as I mentioned before, bread dough figures that are the cutest little things you can imagine. You run the gamut, and that's what's kind of exciting, because you never know when you make a turn on the grounds what you're going to see next. And I might also point out that back in we're already in our 17th year of what we call Yankee Peddler Today, which is one of the areas of Yankee Peddler Festival that's more contemporary. Artists and crafters, they keep evolving, and lasers didn't exist back in 1825. Actually, photography barely existed back then. But we have people that are representative of more modern and contemporary crafts in an area that we call Liberty Village.
Has it changed over the years for you?
Yes, very much so. When we first, my wife and I first became involved in the festival, there were people that were wheel makers that made wheels out of wood. They bent the wood in water, and they actually made stagecoach wheels.
Wow.
Basket makers who did the same thing, that did it all by hand sitting there. It's hard to find a basket maker these days. They've been pretty much wiped out. There's no market for that, and I can tell you there isn't a big market for stagecoach wheels either. So I mean, these are people who have to make a living. So yeah, there's been changes. There's been an evolution of available crafts and artists, but we keep a fairly substantial group that keeps evolving themselves, and we move on with the times as well.
Now, with 200, I know you couldn't probably choose a most popular one, but are there any that folks come every year specifically to look for?
Indeed. That's one of the fun things. The first day of the festival, we have usually a very long line out at the gates, and the people come in and they run straight to the person that they want to get a piece from, because they know that will sell out, or they will not have the latest representation. And I could name several names, but it would be unfair to some of the others. Everyone has a following, and everyone's able to cultivate a following. That's one of the things that's unique about the festival, is that you don't come just for one person. You may want that person's piece, but you also find yourself attracted and talking about other things. I know a jeweler, well, he's been in the festival for 40 some years himself, who is not far from the Canton area. He's from Carrollton, Alan Fisk. Alan has a following that is so steady, it's amazing. And he actually, we know the people that buy the tickets online ahead of time, they are there to buy his products because he has such unique inlaid jewelry. And there are many people like that. Alan is just one example.
And speaking of that, I mean, they come from all over the country?
Yes. Well, things have changed a little bit. We're dealing with an inflationary period in gas, et cetera, and sort of travel chaos. But historically, we have had every year people from Texas, from California, that regularly come to the festival. Lots of them have relatives in the Ohio area, so they're able to sort of kill two birds with one stone. But we do get people from all over. And in fact, some of our artists and crafters come from Europe. We have two lovely artists from Scotland, one who makes sterling silver jewelry and the other does wool felting. And they annually pay for their trip and their stay there with their sales at Yankee Peddler. And they've been with us for 30 some years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Indeed.
And so if you purchase a ticket, it's good for just the first weekend? I mean, or is it good for all the weekends? How does that work?
Well, if you were to purchase a ticket online from our website, it's good for any day of the festival.
Okay.
We don't have limits on that. And the same, if you go through the gate, you're going to be there that day. So you are there that day. But we don't put limits on the ticket itself, no.
Okay. And again, for folks who are wondering, the website where they can go and check things out, because there's also a lot of great information on the website too.
Right. It's www.yankeepeddlerfestival.com.
And again, as we mentioned earlier, you can get tickets at the gate. That might be the easiest way, because if you decide you can't go this weekend, go next weekend, whatever it might be, that might work out being one of the easier ways. We are going to take a break for the news. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about food availability and entertainment, because we know that happens at the festival as well. And the Yankee Peddler Festival, boy, a lot going on there if you're looking for something to do. And we will continue with Frank Chaika from the Yankee Peddler Festival. That's all coming up on Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Tune in each Saturday at 8:35 a.m. for the Money Matters radio show. Hosts Bob Foudy and David Ryan help you make your money matter. Learn how today's economy, debt levels, and policies affect your hard-earned money. You worked hard to earn that money, and now it's time to watch it grow. Tune into the Money Matters radio show every Saturday morning at 8:35 a.m. to learn how to make your money matter. To speak to Bob Foudy or Dave Ryan about your money matters, call New Horizon Financial Group in Canton at 330-499-1915.
For a new water softener system, call the experts at Verndale Water. We offer affordable prices to fit any budget, and no interest financing is available. Let our family give your family clean, clear, great-tasting water. From Verndale Water Experts.
Verndale's Water. Why choose Spectrum Orthopedics? As a group of specialists, we have found that providing state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge treatment methods in a comfortable environment allows us to offer the best in orthopedic care. Visit SpectrumOrtho.com to request an appointment.
Time to hit the open road this summer in the vehicle you want at the rate you deserve, courtesy of Friends and Family Credit Union. Whether your ride is a car, truck, or motorcycle, new or used, Friends and Family will make the ride of your choice a reality. Stop in and talk to our local friendly loan professionals. You deserve to hit the open road this summer in the vehicle you want at the rate you deserve, and no payment for 90 days. Courtesy of Friends and Family Credit Union. It's time to bring a friend into the family.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 10th, 17th, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare made over open fires and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. That's yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival. See you there.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, the Stark County Health Department and several partners will host an outreach event for students, faculty, and the community tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Kent State University at Stark on Frank Avenue. The event will offer the campus and community members resources, education, a chance to be up to date on their COVID-19 vaccines, and that will include the new booster dose. The vaccines will be provided through the Ohio Department of Health's mobile unit. A New Mexico County commissioner has been removed from office for taking part in the January 6th Capitol riot. Coy Griffin is the founder of a group called Cowboys for Trump and was sentenced in June to 14 days behind bars for entering the Capitol grounds during the riot. Yesterday, a judge removed Griffin as commissioner, citing a clause in the Constitution that bans anyone who engages in an insurrection or rebellion from holding elected office. McDonald's is bringing back an item for its fall menu that no one else has seen since the 1980s. Starting on Wednesday of next week, the chain is bringing back the Cheese Danish. Chain says that the limited time offering is a fresh take on the item that it briefly had on its menu 3 decades ago. In sports, the Cleveland Guardians beat Kansas City last night 4-1. They'll play again tonight. 7:35 is the pregame, 8:10 the first pitch, right here on 1480 WHBC. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your Accuweather Forecast. A partly sunny day. High today 78. Clear tonight, low 59. Partly sunny. Very nice tomorrow. The high at 81. And then for tomorrow night, clear, low 60. Sunny, warm day on Friday. The high Friday 83. Clear skies Friday night, low 66. Sun and clouds on Saturday morning. Then a mostly cloudy afternoon. The high on Saturday near 80. I'm Steve Williams for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to a Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. I'm Pam Cook with you on News Talk 1480 WHBC. And of course, obviously, listening to us on the radio, but you can also watch us on our Facebook page. We are live there right now, and also on our YouTube channel. So you can check us out in both places. We'd love for you to do that. We've been talking this morning about the Yankee Peddler Festival, the 49th annual, by the way. And the dates for this coming up this weekend, September 10th and 11th, also the 17th and 18th, and the 24th and 25th. So 3 weekends during this month of September. Lots to do there. So many fun things, and really a very cool experience if you've never been. And with us this morning from the Yankee Peddler Festival is Frank Chaika, and we've been talking about the artisans. We've been talking about all the fun things that people can do. But Frank, let's talk food. Okay.
It's interesting, but there are people who come down to Yankee Peddler really not for the arts and crafts, not so much for the entertainment. They come for the food. There's a lot of really good food on the grounds, and part and parcel with that is that most of the food that's made on the grounds is made over open fires. And so it's the original barbecue in a way. This is true of like even a Reuben sandwich, which is made over a griddle, on a griddle that's over a fire. They have, everything tastes so much better. And as one of my friends in the Cleveland area says, I go down there just to smell all the good aromas as I walk through the grounds. There's a lot of delicious food. People love the turkey legs, which is they're a meal in themselves. Yes, they're big. But we have, everything. I personally love the apple fritters, which are made with fresh apples that are dipped in a batter and deep fried there, and the oil's heated up by open fire. And they're the original ones. They're not all with a lot of dough, and they're not donuts. Let's put it that way. They're really very good. But we go everything from snacky-ish kind of foods to solid meals and barbecue meals, barbecue chicken, brisket. Funnel cakes are a great favorite with a lot of people, or elephant ears. We cover an awful lot of ground. We even have a gentleman who wanders the ground selling macaroons out of a cart. So it's an experience not just of eating, but it's an experience just to see how how it's all put together. Fish and chips, strombolis, chicken, cream chicken over biscuits, which a lot of people really love. They die for. So, you can spend the whole day eating. It's not a bad idea, actually.
I have to say, when you talk about the food and the making of the food, and the same thing with the artisans who are there, it sounds like it's a fun time for them too.
Oh, it is. It's a community. I think one of the things when we introduce new people, new Yankee Peddlers to the festival, we have a little booklet that we hand out, and we say to them, "Look, we're a community, and you're going to understand that. And if you need any help, just turn to the neighbor; he'll help you." And after the day is done at 5:30, people get together afterwards on the grounds. Some of them camp out there all night. Other people eat dinner together. Get a little food from the different concessions there, and people just work together. And there's lots of stories about extremes of that. I remember one of our favorite artists. Her name is Vicki Rubel. They're from the Mansfield area, and her husband plays the wandering bagpipes on the grounds. They arrived in a tow truck. One time because they got in an accident on the way to the festival, and they arrived with a tow truck pulling their van, and it was right at the time that we closed the grounds to traffic because we want to prepare it for the visitors, and everyone that was in their area just helped out, picked up everything, and they put it all together for them, and they were ready to go at 10:30 in the morning. So wow. Yeah, there's a lot of really good vibes down there and good feeling. And there's a lot, I didn't mention drinks. We have a gentleman and his wife actually now runs the business. They bring up they do their own root beer. They brew their own root beer in sarsaparilla, and they bring it up from Louisiana, interestingly enough. And they will actually bring it up in kegs, and they'll bottle it for you there. So you have some old time kinds of drinks as well as the sodas and that kind of thing in the contemporary section. We haven't forgotten that, so we do that in the Liberty Village. But everything else is pretty accurate and pretty faithful.
Yeah, again, a learning experience for kids who have never had real root beer, right?
That's true. It does taste a little different.
Yeah, it does. It does. You are right about that. You are absolutely right about that. Well, talk about the location and everything, because we've been, we talk about it being at Clays Park, and this is, you need the area. You need that amount of space because of all of the things that are going on.
Right. We cover about 75 acres. It's a very large expanse. So it's good to have walking shoes that are, but there's always places to sit down, and usually where there's places to sit down, you're going to have entertainment, which we'll get to it in another segment. But there's plenty to see, and it's over 75 acres. And what we've done, because of the layout of Clays, it's very conducive to having little areas that we've given some rather quaint names to: Muskrat Cove, Possum Run, Hoot Owl Roost, the Glen, which is not as clever as the others, Liberty Village, which is a contemporary area, and Quail Hollow. And those areas then are sort of like little worlds to themselves. They have food, they have the artists and crafters there, they have entertainers there, and so it's like a lot of little shows in a much bigger show, and it's more manageable, I think, just psychologically as you go through there to get a sense of all the community that is there, and that's there for all the art and crafts.
Yeah, and again, for folks maybe who are just tuning in, talk again a little bit about the history, because I know it's a family thing, as you mentioned, and it continues to be that way for you and for all the folks actually who are there participating. But maybe, let's go back and talk a little bit about the history of the Yankee Peddler.
Sure. It was started in 1972 by two families, the Apple family and the Chaika family. Those of us who are of next generation have kind of grown into it. And so it's been a family business from the beginning, and the orientation is carried out to the grounds. It is a family event, and there's something for everyone. I know that once in a while there's some men who don't want to be dragged away from their Cleveland Browns. Don't always want to come on Sundays, but there's a lot of stuff for them too, including an artillery artillery group. There's just an awful lot of male things there too, and a lot of excitement. So it's the whole family theme started at the top, and it just continues over the whole time. And we're already at 49 years. It would have been 50, but the pandemic kind of disrupted everything back in 2020. So next year is going to be our golden anniversary.
Wow.
We really want to celebrate that. That's it's hard to believe, even for me who wasn't involved right at the beginning, but that's a lot of years.
Yeah. What was it like for you when you first started your involvement? What kind of things do you remember then?
Yeah, it was small by comparison. I was not there for the first 5 years. I actually had a job overseas, and my wife did too, working for the Ford Foundation. So we weren't involved. In fact, it was kind of a surprise when we were notified what was going on in September. But we started in 77. And when we got there, there was Muskrat Cove, Hoodall Roost, Quail Hollow, and Possum Run. There were 4 areas. And it was just getting off the ground in the 70s. And so it was much smaller. But very quickly, other areas were added on because we had a great patronage from the public, and for the same reason, there were also an awful lot of artists and crafters who needed a new venue, and then we provided that for them. Now, there's a lot of knockoffs of Yankee Peddler. I can go almost from city to city and name the ones that came to Yankee Peddler, saw what we were doing, and started their own shows. Fine, but there's only one Yankee Peddler, and I think it shows up when like you talk about the community of Yankee Peddlers, about the people that are there, and the whole ambiance that's created at Yankee Peddler. When we get into entertainment, we'll be talking about that too. We have lots of entertainment. We don't just have one stage, one guy sings up there on the guitar, and that's it. We have an awful lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm going to save that for after our next break. We'll get to the entertainment. But when we talked about earlier, I asked you if things had changed much. And, the artisans, I would imagine that that's evolved, but also much of it has probably stayed the same because people continually like that same thing.
Right. The theme stays the same. And we don't have anyone anymore that goes back to the first years of the festival, unfortunately, other than Gretchen Yappel, who's our partner. But the artists and crafters, they all age too. And so there is kind of an attrition there. But their generation that follows them has come. Different styles, different angles, but also they learn from their parents and they keep going. So there's kind of a core there. And like we said previously, there's a community there and it rubs off. And very quickly, as you become a member of that community of artists and crafters, you sort of become inspired and become a part of that. And so the whole theme keeps going. The whole idea of sharing and caring for the public keeps going. We have had a couple times when we were under drenching rains, we stayed open and there was public there. They were very hardy people, but the artists and crafters sat there in the soaking rain. Well, because hopefully they had roofs over their head. But there were some torrential downpours, but they stayed there because they felt an obligation to the public. And that's you don't see that everywhere,
Yeah.
Especially if you have mechanical cashiers and self-serve and everything else. No, it's an entirely different environment, and it's maybe we're losing it in the sense of the world around it is changing. But when you walk in there, you've got it. You've got the feeling of sociability and pleasant smiles. I remember Bill Randall, who I don't know if you knew, he was in the Cleveland radio business for many, many years. He said when he went down there, he said he noticed one thing: no one did not smile. Everyone smiled, and he said that's one of the marks of something special, and that's really the case.
Well, something doesn't last for 49 years if it's not successful, if you're not doing something right. So obviously that's a really good thing. We will take our final break this morning, and when we come back, we're going to talk entertainment. We want to find out about all the fantastic entertainment coming up at the 49th annual Yankee Peddler Festival this weekend and the following 2 weekends after that during the month of September. And again, right here, you'll hear all about it on Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
Step back in time 200 years and join the Yankee Peddlers at the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival at Clays Park Resort in Canal Fulton, Ohio, on the weekends of September 10th, 17th, and 24th. Over 200 artists and crafters will set up rustic shops at the largest show of its kind in Ohio, joined by purveyors of tasty outdoor fare made over open fires and entertainers from musical groups to theatrical productions. More information at yankeepeddlerfestival.com. That's yankeepeddlerfestival.com. It's the 49th Annual Yankee Peddler Festival. See you there.
Voted best of the best urgent care, make Omni Express Walk-in Clinic your first stop when you need expert orthopedic care fast. Don't waste time waiting in the ER for a general physician who may refer you to an orthopedic specialist anyway. We will assess your injury and move on to immediate treatment using non-surgical therapies, medicine, or injections for pain relief. Omni Express Canton is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Omni Express Dover is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., no appointment needed. Learn more at omniortho.com.
Hail and wind damage, ice, rain, or snow damage, roofing, insurance claims, siding work. No job is too big or too small. It's Joe and Chris at A&M Total Restoration, proud members of the Better Business Bureau. Call 330-507-6220. That's 507-6220 today. Serving all of Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. Before you go anywhere else, go local. Visit amtotalrestoration.com.
Whether you are a lifelong churchgoer or this is your first experience into a faith community, Christ Presbyterian Church invites you to join them for a very special worship hour each and every Sunday on 1480 WHBC. Christ Presbyterian has served the community of Canton for more than 200 years as a beacon of hope to the hopeless, pointing toward Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life. Be sure to tune in every Sunday morning at 10:30 for the Cathedral Hour, live from Christ Presbyterian Church in downtown Canton on 1480 WHBC.
Live and Local is your place for news and what's going on in our community.
We're only about a week and a half into the school year. I cannot tell you how many messages and phone calls I have gotten from followers about bullying within the school district. It's one thing to bully, but it's another thing, when that bullying, crosses a line. As a parent, why don't you do us all a favor and teach your kids not to bully people? It all starts at home.
It's Jordan Miller, Live and Local, 10 to noon, Monday through Friday on 1480 WHBC.
Football games, bonfires, and hay rides are back in season, and so is Bell Store's delicious pumpkin spice coffee. Spice up your autumn adventures. Save 3 cents off a gallon when you purchase any size coffee with Bell Buddy Rewards. Buy 5 and get your 6th cup free. Huddle up for great savings every day in the store and at the pump using Bell Buddy Rewards. Cheer on big savings at Bell Stores. Ohio owned and keeping the family on full.
Cornelius Altman was Stark County's first honest-to-goodness millionaire. He died having started 37 businesses around the world, but he's best remembered for the equipment he made to modernize farms across America. Today, he's remembered as the name on the hospital where hundreds of thousands of Stark County residents took their first breath.
I'm Larry Hackenberg, and Altman's life is just one of the difference makers we've explored on our Time Machine radio shows. But today, I'd like to tell you about Hackenberg Financial Group, the difference makers with a more modest focus. We only want to make a difference in one life, yours, with custom strategies to smooth your life and retirement. Visit hackenberg.biz and explore the difference makers who work one life at a time.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 10/1. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
Attention, per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free, as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit testkitforfree.com to register now from the comfort of your own home. That's testkitforfree.com to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to testkitforfree.com today. Paid for by T. Euro Health.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on News Talk 1480 WHBC. Pam Cook with you on this Wednesday morning. And we have been talking about the Yankee Peddler Festival, the 49th annual. And of course, you can listen to us on the radio, but for sure, check us out on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. So we have with us this morning from the Yankee Peddler Festival, Frank Chika. And Frank, we've been talking food and arts and crafts, but now it's also time for us to find out more about the entertainment, because there's a lot of that as well, right?
Right. There's no lack of entertainment on the grounds. We have these different little areas, and every area has its own entertainment. And there's a rotating schedule. Some people are just plunked down in an area for the whole day, and they'll just play all day. They really are quite amazing that they take a few breaks here or there, but they play. But we also have some regionally renowned groups that come to the festival and play on an amplified stage in Liberty Village. So we cover an awful lot of grounds. There's puppets for young and old alike. In fact, when we were talking about the evolution of the festival, I didn't bring up the fact that, people call us up and say, my mom used to bring me over to the festival and I want to bring my kids over now. And are the puppets still there? Because the puppets actually are evolving entity as well. Todd Evangelista, who's been doing our puppets for years, has the same stories like Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, but they keep evolving with the times and the change. And the wolf is always kind of confused. He doesn't know if it's Little Red Riding Hood or little pink raincoat that he's dealing with, and he just keeps evolving it with whatever occurs to Todd as he goes along. So people are there just kind of anticipating what he's going to do. The puppets are there. He has marionettes as well. We started last year a medicine show, which we originally had many, many years ago by one of the original participants in that medicine show. And it's a delightful, back in the day, as they say, there weren't a lot of doctors back in 1776, but there were people who, like Yankee Peddlers, moved around to sell their goods, and they used to sell elixirs, and that was the origins of the medicine show. So we have a gentleman who, Jim Volkert, who has a theatrical company himself, and they put on the medicine show every day, a couple times of the day. We have a wandering magician, and we also have two magicians who are on stage, and the wandering magician just wanders all day doing her tricks on the grounds, and the other one on stage is programmed in for a couple performances a day. Musicians, I said, the first weekend, Steve Madewell, who is a marvelous baritone voice. He's from Painesville, Ohio, but he's playing as far out as far west as Kansas now. He's invited to so many different venues. He's really a marvelous singer, and he has his own group, and he's been with us for many, many years. And the second weekend, we feature the Plate Scrapers, which is an East Coast group. I love the name. They are actually old time music, but again, they're not old time, but they're an evolutionary product of playing mandolin, old bluegrass kind of music, and updating it for. They've been featured on numerous East Coast radio TV stations on NPR as well. And the last weekend we have a Celtic number, the Celtic Sisters, who were young girls way back when they started at Yankee Peddler, and then they grew up and started doing other things, and they're back now when they have families themselves, and they'll be singing on the third weekend. Those are every day from 1 to 4:30. Those three different groups. I would also point out that we have. It's kind of like entertainment, but it's not specifically entertainment. But we have the town criers, who are out there telling people what's going on the grounds. And if someone gets lost, we don't have that happen too much, but if someone gets lost, they're responsible for going out there and recruiting the right people for finding whoever got lost. And we also have face painting for the children, excellent face painters. We have on the second weekend, again, Children's Weekend, we have Jeff Pickington, who's coming from Terre Haute, Indiana. He is a nationally recognized chalk artist, and he's going to be doing a 10 by 20 chalk art project on cement. And this is the kind of chalk art where if you adopt the perspective he's working from, it becomes 3D. And so, it'll be a fish jumping out at you or whatever occurs to him at the time. But he's a remarkable individual, and he'll be there for the whole weekend. He'll start on Saturday and conclude his work on Sunday, but people will be able to see how he goes about doing it. We have, I think I've mentioned the frontiersmen who have set up an encampment, and you would not know that they are people from the local area. They're all dressed up in their buckskinning and their horns and everything else. But they're amazing men. They lived, and their wives too, they live the life of frontiersmen on the grounds. And we have, I think I've mentioned the Civil War Encampment. It's an artillery encampment, so 4 times a day they'll be firing their cannons. They don't fire it at full charge, I assure you, because that would probably shake up everyone. But they do go through the whole routine of how, in fact, artillery was handled in those days. Let's see who else. Oh, on the third weekend, we have Todd Johnson, who is a Native American himself. He goes by the name of Ghost in the Head, and he sets up a Native American camp. And he is a remarkable individual. He is so steeped in his own history and the history of Native Americans. And we, probably don't have to remind ourselves, but they were the ones who were here first. And he knows so much about that history and how they survived, and how then the frontiersmen who came adopted their way of life as well, so that they could survive on the Ohio frontier. We were a frontier once. And we call them mountain men. There aren't too many mountains in Ohio, but there were frontiersmen who worked with the Native Americans, and so we have that kind of meeting of the historical minds on the grounds as well.
Well, it's a wonderful event. It's for 3 weekends, and you have to be able to make it at least one of those times. YankeePeddlerFestival.com is the website. You can get tickets there and more information about the hours and the location at Clays Park, and just it's arts and crafts and food and entertainment and history. And it's great for the whole family. And Frank, I'm so happy that you could come on and share all the information with us.
I appreciate being on with you, Pam.
Thank you. You have a good one. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Hope to see you down there.